Happy Hump Day, Delmarva. You're watching Coast Life, and we are your hosts. I'm Paige Marley.
I'm Leah Rizzo, and it is another hot September day.
Woo! You know, it's too hot, even if this was summer.
Yeah, no, I'm with you.
Yeah.
The heat and humidity all together,
Yeah.
when we start feeling like we're in the hundreds, it's a no-go.
People have been like, oh, 90s in September, too hot. 90s anytime is too hot. What are you doing in August? Like, I love the 90s.
Yeah, and a rough back-to-school day then for anybody that headed back today.
Didn't you used to hate that when you were heading to school and it's either too hot or rainy, and you were sweaty, or your hair was messed up and your clothes are wet?
I think one of the worst parts too, like the saddest transition was to go from like flip-flops to socks and sneakers, and you were like, it's over, isn't it?
Yep. Or those days when it was hot in the morning, or cool in the morning, I should say, hot in the afternoon, and just getting off the bus, you just were miserable.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, happy back to school.
Hopefully you had a great first day back, whether that was yesterday or today. Welcome back, teachers, students, everybody, and I hope it was a good day for you.
Shout out to you teachers.
Yes, but speaking of school, if you had already done your back to school shopping, which hopefully you did, although we were known to be last minute shoppers sometimes.
Fair.
Back to school inflation on prices for school supplies is insane. So parents, you have our sympathy, but they're costing like an average of $500. I don't know if that's for multiple kids. So like,
Either
when
way,
you
though.
add up 3+ children all together, you're getting that 500 number, but that's the average.
You know, I believe it a little bit more, let's say if you had 3 high schoolers, because you know those calculators? I don't remember what they're called.
They
TI
were TI
81,
yeah,
or 83.
well, I think they were 83
I wonder if we're
back
showing
in
our
my
age.
day, but I wonder if, are they on like TI 90 now, or
Right.
like TI 102?
Those were crazy expensive. So I feel like if you have like maybe 3 high schoolers, that kind of makes sense, but 500 to send your kids back to school?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, parents, we salute you.
It's true.
Oh
So
my.
good luck, especially to you. But the one other thing we wanted to talk about, and this is big news right now in the celebrity world. I mean, we've been talking about a lot of celebrity splits this year, but Joe Jonas and Sophie Turner are calling it quits.
I know, give it a moment. We're here for you.
I was rooting for them.
We were all rooting for you.
And I don't really root for a lot of celebrity couples. Like, genuinely, I just, I'm, whatever.
You just
it's none
don't
of my
care.
business.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Yeah.
But I really was rooting for them. I liked them. They always seemed like they were having fun together, and maybe that was part of the problem.
Right.
All fun, no responsibility.
And when these things happen, everyone starts to make speculation, and they start guessing, and so we don't want to do that, but we are still going to keep you updated on what we've heard, a couple things here and there, right? So some things people have been saying, right? So I guess Sophie was young when they started dating. She was 20, he was about 27. She's 27 now.
Yeah, I guess I didn't realize they were that far apart in age.
Right, and I don't think 7 years is that far, but it is when you're in your teens or your early 20s.
Yeah.
If it was like 40 and 47, that's nothing.
Right.
So, but they did just have 2 kids, which always makes us really sad.
Yeah.
When kids are involved. Joe, apparently, this is all, again, we are getting this from news sources. Apparently has
speculation, not ours.
Right, but he's the one who filed, which, again, no offense to Joe, because I'm a Joe girly, but I would have thought she would file before he would. I don't know why I think that. Again, I love you, Joe, so much, but
yeah, I mean, I guess when you think about it, the Jonas brothers, they're real family guys.
Yeah.
They've worked together as a family. You can see that family means a lot to them.
Right.
They've done a lot as a unit.
yeah. So,
Even Frankie, who's
right? He has that new show.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so man, this one hurts. But I will say, everyone on social media, we were talking about this earlier, is like, love's not real. It still is, because Danielle and Kevin are still together.
That's the one for you?
That's the one for, if they ever break up, love's not real. Joe and Sophie is sad, but they'll both be okay.
Yeah, they will.
They will. But man, this is the one, this and the Ariana Grande one, I am just like, what happened? I need to know. It's not my business. I need to know.
But you want to know.
So I'm seeing the Jonas Brothers in concert this month. I'm going to come back and report if Joe's wearing his wedding ring. Because that's been the other thing. Some shows he has it on, some shows he doesn't.
We got our inside scoop.
I got you guys.
You got to get back to us.
I'll take one for the team.
And one more little tip for you, I guess, if you are looking to save money, because we talked about how expensive school supplies is.
Yes.
We know how expensive groceries have been lately. And so they did a little study, a little experiment to see if a vegan diet was actually cheaper than a regular diet.
Okay.
And if you'd asked me this before diving into this study, I would have thought that it was either on the same ground or more expensive, because you have to buy a lot of like nutritional yeast and different supplements and things to sort of make up the difference of nutrients that you're not getting from a regular protein diet, I guess. But as it turns out, if you eat a vegan diet, so no animal products, no meat, no eggs, no cheese, it turns out you can save up to like $500 a year. It ends up being cheaper.
And isn't that crazy? Because that $500 you can put towards your kids' school supplies.
It's the number today.
Jeez, it's like families are gonna have to go vegan to send their kids to school. See, I want to see a more broken down list, because I normally am like, well, if Leah said it, it's true. I got you.
No.
But
please don't use that logic.
But this one I'm feeling a little weird about, because I don't know, like, do you only eat like bags of carrots? Like,
I mean, there's a lot of there are a couple of brands now that make a lot of like pre-made veggie burger patties and hot dogs and chicken nuggets, and they're pretty good for the most part. Like, I've tried them here and there, and I'm like, not bad.
Right. They're not bad.
Just because I'm curious, I'm like, would it be, because when you look at the meat industry as a whole, I've certainly thought about vegetarian or vegan options before. Couldn't give up cheese. I think dairy would be a hard line for me. Same thing with seafood. Like those would be hard for me to give up.
Yeah, definitely.
But I could certainly cut back. I'm not a big red meat eater in the first place, so I've looked at replacing a lot anyway. So there are a lot of easier to obtain options now, and they are also tasty.
That's right.
But I think, a lot of like the cashew cheese, and like there's a lot of alternatives out there. They're not all winners. I will say that. I have yet to find a vegan mac and cheese that's really like,
Isn't there like a lactose-free ice cream?
Yeah, there's lactose-free milk.
Is it good? Well, lactose-free milk I can get behind. This is the thing. If you told me vegetarian diet is cheaper, I'd believe that, because you're cutting out steak and whatever. But vegans let us know, because I don't know if I can get behind this. And don't be like, well, Paige, just try going vegan and you'll see. I'm not doing that. I just want to know from you, what's the deal?
Do you save money?
Yeah, just let me know. Maybe then I would do it.
One thing we do know, though, is that we've got a great show headed your way. We are checking in with our friends at Peninsula Home Care to keep some of our community members safe.
And a really fun beer collaboration. We are talking about Passion Fruit Pride with Dogfish Head and Camp Rehoboth.
And like we've said, the kids are back in school, so we are checking in with a Rehoboth Beach school resource officer. All that and more is coming your way with more Coast Life, so don't go anywhere.
Coast Life is brought to you by BB Healthcare, Coastal Comfort Heating and Air Conditioning, Preston Automotive Group, and Shell Brothers.
Watching Coast Life, and it's no secret that businesses on the Delmarva coast love to give back. At Dogfish Head, what better way to give back than with beer? And that is exactly what they're doing right now with this Passion Pride.
So when you taste this beer, you're really going to notice the passion fruit. So it's like nice and rich and tropical.
A beer that tastes good and does good. Brewed in partnership with Camp Rehoboth, a nonprofit in Rehoboth Beach that is dedicated to creating a positive environment inclusive of all sexual orientations and gender identities.
So every year we release a quarterly beer and benevolence beer. This is our third year running the program, and we partner with a local nonprofit organization and brew a beer that best represents that organization, sell it, and through our beer and benevolence program make a nice donation to that organization. So we partnered with our friends at Camp Rehoboth to create a beer that not only would benefit them financially, but also bring awareness around the community about their organization, teach people about what they do, and also like in the flavor and appearance of the beer, we really wanted to embody the spirit and nature of the organization. So when I was working with my friends Terry Seaton and Lori Thompson from Camp Rehoboth, we talked about what they really wanted to embody in this beer. And one of the first things they said was, can we make it purple with butterfly pea flowers? And we said, yeah, of course we can make it purple with butterfly pea flowers. In addition to that, you know, the idea of the passion of the organization and the community that it supports, they wanted to make it with passion fruit. So what we ended up with is a really beautiful light blonde ale, colored purple with butterfly pea flowers, and it has these nice tiki drink vibes from the tropical aromas and flavors of the passion fruit. One of the cool things about butterfly pea flower, when you add some sort of acid, usually citric acid from a citrus fruit or what have you, it actually goes from a rich bluish purple down to a lighter pink purple. It's really pretty cool.
The can even grabs your attention. It's bold and colorful, with waves representing the Delmarva coast, and disco balls to represent all of the fun events Camp Rehoboth has.
In those disco balls, it's reflecting purple, which reflects the color of the beer it's inside the can. It's always been important to us to give back to the community that has given us so much support over the years since 1995, 1996. So, just giving back whenever and however we can is something that's very important to us.
All right, and I haven't tried it just yet, so let's, 1 second. Okay, and you know what? Brian, 100% right. The first thing you taste is that passion fruit. So don't forget, you have to get this while supplies last. So what are you doing? Run to Dogfish Head. But not yet. More Coast Life is on the way.
You're watching Coast Life, and if you've ever had to deal with elder law or estate planning, it can be a lot overwhelming, a lot of legal terms that maybe you're not familiar with. So wouldn't you want to pick somebody to help guide you through it, who not only knows what they're talking about, but it all comes from a place of love and caring?
Right.
Well, that's the case with our friends at Prasino Wells and Woodland in Seaford and in Lewis. So we're actually going to take a look back at how things got started and take a look at their Lewis location.
Prasino Wells and Woodland, LLC, is an estate planning and elder law firm in the state of Delaware. With locations in Seaford and Lewis, attorneys Michelle Prasino Wells and Amber B. Woodland use their knowledge to help families looking for a way to plan and protect their future. A company that centers itself around supporting the needs of family all began with a touching story.
I've been practicing almost 28 years. Started out at a firm in Dover, kind of a medium-sized firm, was there for a few years, worked in their trust and estates department. And yeah, I'm a Sussex County girl, so I quickly wanted to come back to Sussex County, ended up switching and moving to a very small firm where I learned a lot, where I really sort of established my estate planning practice. And then was with that firm till 2005. When I decided to open my own office. So I did that in Seaford.
In 2005, the journey to opening her first law firm began, giving back to the county where she grew up. The Seaford building remains close to Michelle's heart, as it once was a daycare center that her son Joshua once attended.
I'd opened the Seaford office in 2005, and I was in a rented building, very nice space, but wanted to have my own office building. So at that time, I had a young son. He was 5 years old, and he was attending preschool at a house that was, it was actually the downstairs of the house was a preschool building, and the family that ran the preschool lived upstairs, so right in downtown Seaford. So I found out that they were going to be selling the building. So my son Josh was in the last graduating class of the Riverview Preschool in downtown Seaford. So anyway, I bought the building.
The old preschool building was originally built in 1880 and now lies as the company's beautifully renovated Seaford Law Firm building.
But so I bought that building. It's an incredible old house. It was built in 1880, and we renovated it, which took about a year and a half, and then moved in. But it's just a charming old house with wood floors, which back then those floors were all done by hand, and some of them have these really intricate patterns in them. They're really beautiful.
In 2006, Michelle had another exciting addition to her practice.
I joined Michelle as a summer intern in that summer of 2006, and it was sort of just on a whim. I had a really great mentor in college that said, if you want to go to law school, you better get some experience and make sure that's an investment you want to make with your time and your money. So I knew Michelle in the community. I knew that she had just opened her own law office in Seaford. I graduated from Seaford High. That was the community that I grew up in. So I sent my resume to Michelle and I said, hey, would you consider an intern? And she's like, sure. And then the rest is kind of history.
Right.
And I worked with Michelle every summer until I graduated from law school. And then in 2010, I actually was admitted to the bar on the same day, 15 years exactly after Michelle was admitted to the Delaware bar.
Taking a leap of faith led to one successful partnership.
And then we formed our partnership in 2014. We opened our Lewis location not long after that, and have really over the years focused down our practice to just a few areas of the law.
When two great minds come together, ideas are bound to prosper, leading to another law firm in Lewis, Delaware.
When we decided to branch out into Eastern Sussex County, it was a leap of faith for us. Yeah, we had just formed our partnership, but we saw the opportunity that there was a need for our services in Eastern Sussex County, and we started looking for space. We signed a lease in 2014, and we leased a space for almost 6 years at the Villages of 5 Points, but we realized that we wanted a permanent home in Lewis, and so we started looking at properties in the area, and we landed on the property that's now our Lewis office. And I think we stepped through the front door and fell in love.
Persino Wells in Woodland takes the ease off of planning for the future. Their Lewis location not only serves as a welcoming building for their clientele, but has a charming history as well.
Turns out that our Lewis office has a lot of rich history, just like our Seaford office does, and it too was built in the late 1800s. It has a lot of character, and what's really cool, I think, is some of the materials used in the construction of our Lewis office came from local historical sites.
The lobby fireplace is made from materials that once served as the Henlopen lighthouse. Some parts of the building even date back to the local Breakwood quarantine station during World War I. But they knew it was meant to be after discovering the past owner of the building.
At one point, a judge actually lived here, and the front porch area was actually used as his office. And so we thought it was divine, that it was just meant for us. And so we put an offer in. We had to do just a little bit of necessary renovations to take it from residential to a more commercial space, but it still has the same warm home feel that our Seaford office does.
Though they provide their clients with specialized areas of practice, they never forget to make their clients feel at home during their visit.
Our goal was, we wanted the office to feel welcoming to our clients, and it's an old home. We serve cookies to our clients. We really do try to make them feel comfortable, because going to the lawyer's office can be really scary for a lot of people.
After attending a conference and looking at the needs of those in Sussex County, she decided to expand her firm and add elder law as one of the firm's areas of practice.
But I attended a presentation where some consultants came in talking about the future of healthcare, talking about the anticipated needs of Western Sussex County, and really Sussex County as a whole. And so we realized at that time that there was a huge need in our community for what we call elder law or asset protection planning, helping families shelter or preserve those assets that they've worked really hard to accumulate. So in the event a loved one does need extended long-term care, is there a way that they can protect some of their savings?
If you know a family looking to take the next step in planning their future, contact Persino Wells in Woodland in their Lewis or Seaford location for additional information.
Thanks, Maya. And we do know that, Michelle and Amber, they when you talk to them, everything they do comes from such a place of family and love.
It does.
It's so impressive.
Yes, definitely. On the camera, behind the camera, honestly, they always care about what they're doing and the people they're working with.
Yes. And speaking of family, we've started doing our mom moments. Yes. We're going to do another one of those tomorrow, but make sure that you submit those. You can do that via our socials. Yeah. You can always email us, team@coastlife.com. Basically, especially with back to school, we know there's probably some kid drama and just those moments of, that connects all moms.
That's right.
And kids later in life when you look back on all those moments that you probably frustrated your mother.
Yes, that's for sure. So just email us, team@coastlife.com. You can also just honestly just comment or post it on our Facebook page, send us a message that way, whatever is easier for you.
We'll find it. But don't go anywhere, because there's more Coast Life coming your way.
This segment of Coast Life was brought to you by Persino, Wells, and Wood.
All across Del Mar, but for some, I should say, today is the first day of school. I hope you had a good day of school. You're probably just coming home. Hey, did you meet anybody special? Perhaps an SRO? Okay, maybe this person next to me looks familiar. We have Officer Cisco with the Rehoboth Beach Police Department. Thank you so much for being here today.
Absolutely, thank you for having me.
Of course. So, like I mentioned, you're with Rehoboth Beach Police, but you are an SRO. For people who don't know what that means or what it stands for, what is it?
Sure, SRO is pretty much a school resource officer. So my duties and responsibilities is in the morning, I welcome the kids to school. And throughout the day, I make rounds throughout the school, make sure that everyone's being safe, doing what they're supposed to be doing. I interact with the staff, interact with the students, and then at the end of the day, I help the staff get the kids on the bus and off to their parents.
Amazing. And that must be a really rewarding job. Do you have any favorite parts or a story you want to share about why you decided to become an SRO?
So I started my career back in 2013 with the City of Lewis Police Department, and over the years there's a school there. It used to be the Richard Shields Elementary School. Now it's just the Lewis Elementary School. I used to go in there during lunch hours and hang out with the students there, and that's kind of where I started to get my love for interacting with the youth of Delaware. And then in 2020, I applied to the Rehoboth Beach Police Department to be their SRO. It was a newly created position that they had. So I jumped on the opportunity to do that, and it's been very rewarding since then. I think probably some of my favorite parts throughout the day is going to interact with the students during lunch and during recess, because that's when you really get to see the kids just kind of be themselves and shine in every single way.
Definitely. And I think there's been a lot of talk, especially, we've had it on the news, on Coast TV News recently, but really all across the country, talk of security guards in schools. But you are police officer, you do this with Rehoboth Beach all year round. How do you balance both jobs, I would say, with your career?
Sure. So primarily, like I'm employed by the City of Rehoboth as a police officer. So that's my main responsibility, is as a police officer. And during the school year, I'm assigned to the school, Rehoboth Elementary School. That's my building. There's other SROs throughout the Cape District, and even some parents are going to also see constables coming in as well. So everyone's going to have their own responsibility. And then in the summertime, I go back on the road patrolling as a rotating shift. So I pretty much have the best of both worlds when it comes to that.
Definitely. And I know you and I were talking earlier, I loved my school resource officer in high school. To this day, I think a lot of us, when we're talking, we're like, oh, do you remember Officer Larson? It was really cool making that connection. Is that something you get with the kids?
Oh, absolutely. And it's not just in the school, it follows me outside of the school too. I have a son who's 10 years old and another son who's 8 years old. They both play Pop Warner this year. And there's kids from Rehoboth Elementary that are on their team, so I get to interact with them, not just in the school, but they see me in a different light too. They get to see me as a dad.
That's so cool. I bet that's really special for them as well to see, sometimes police officers can be intimidating to maybe young kids.
The uniform can be very much like, I don't want to go near this guy, but it's the important thing is, as an SRO, one of the main things I try to do is have the staff and the students see an officer as a different light, someone that is approachable. They don't have to be afraid to come and talk to.
That's incredible. And I can tell that you really do find this rewarding. Is there anything you want students watching? Like we said, we're just starting the school year. Anything you want students watching at your school or any others that you just want them to know about you or your job?
I just, I take my job very seriously. I love seeing you guys every day and being able to get you guys in and out of school safely. That's my main priority. So just listen to mom and dad too.
That's exactly it. Listen to mom and dad. All right, I wanted to ask you just kind of one fun question. We had a school principal on the other week, and we were like, okay, we talked about what you do in school. What about outside of school? Again, police officers, sometimes you get a little intimidated. So what does like a Saturday night look like for Officer Cisco?
A Saturday night is just me hanging out at home with my boys and loved ones and just kind of really enjoying the family time. And sometimes, in the off season, it's nice to be able to get down to Funland with not all the visitors around. So we'll probably hit a couple more trips to Funland and things along those lines. But yeah, pretty much just spending time with family and loved ones.
That's amazing. I think a lot of people can relate, right? That's probably what a lot of us are doing on a Saturday night. Amazing, Officer Cisco. Well, thank you for being here.
Well, thank you for having me. I really
appreciate
it.
Of course, you have really an incredible job, and I can tell just by talking to you that you love what you do.
Well, thank you very much.
Of course. Hey, make sure you say hi if you see him, and listen to your mom and dad, okay? We have some more Coast Life on the way. Don't go anywhere. Watching Coast Life, and we are back with Officer Cisco from the Rehoboth Beach Police Department. I know we just spoke with him about a couple things with his SRO position, but I also know that there's a lot of questions people want to know about police officers. So real quick, we are just going to ask Officer Cisco here some questions that might be on your mind. The first this is actually our photographer wanted to know this. How much does your equipment weigh?
Yeah, so depending on what I carry, it's anywhere between 20 to 25 pounds, belt and vest and all.
That's, okay, I think, so I don't have kids. Hey, Jeff, is that more than like what a pregnant woman would, I don't know.
When I was pregnant, no, yes.
That's a lot. Does it, when you put it on each day, are you like, does it weigh you down?
You know, it doesn't necessarily weigh me down because when I put it on, I get a little bit of sense of pride in it, so I stand up a little bit straighter. Now, when I get that relief is when I take it off at the end of the day and I take the 20 to 25 pounds off. That's when I'm like, all right, I can move better again.
I could not imagine carrying an extra 25 all day. Okay, that's impressive. And so if someone is watching this, especially the kids, because you work with kids, and they are like, that's cool, I want to do that, what should they start doing? What advice do you have for them?
Pretty much just try to keep yourself out of trouble. Do well in school. If you want to get involved in your community and see if that's what you have a knack for, there's organizations that kids can volunteer for, that their parents can help them out with too. So, and that's a good way to see if you really like to get involved in your community. Perfect.
At what age would you say people should start thinking about it? If elementary schoolers, if they think I could be a cop, high school?
Well, see, that's the thing. At any age, if you think you want to be a police officer, it's never too early to help people and get involved and help other people's lives. So if you think you want to do something along those lines, you can do that. We've had kids in the elementary school raise money for charities, so it's never too late if that's something you want to do.
That's really incredible. And I know you mentioned that you've been doing this for a couple of years now, working with the school. This is kind of for the parents. How have schools, maybe even the students, changed in the last 4 years?
Well, I think just given the climate of things sometimes, like the summer of 2020, there was a lot of tension around there. So that's when I first started in the Rehoboth Elementary School. And to be perfectly honest, I was a little apprehensive coming in there because I wasn't sure how some of the students and the staff and their parents would take to me, but it's been phenomenal. And every year, I think the kids get a little more welcoming and just love having me there, and I love being there with them.
Have you learned a lot more TikTok trends since working in a school?
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's what it is. TikTok trends is what the older kids, the 4th and 5th graders, that they love talking about. So, and it's good too. Like I mentioned before, I have a 10-year-old and an 8.5-year-old, so they keep me hip to what's going on, so I can use that information to seem cooler to the kids at the school.
I love that, and you already said keep me hip, so you're getting the lingo.
Yeah, right.
Have you been asked to do a TikTok dance while in uniform?
I think the kids, actually the kids, last year there was a couple 5th graders that liked when I did the gritty during lunchtime. So every now and then I'd hit the gritty for them at lunch.
That's awesome. Can you show us?
The gritty?
I don't know what the gritty is. You might be cooler than me.
So essentially what it is you scored a touchdown and you're really happy about it. There's your gritty.
Wait, that was perfect. That was so well done too, and now once you did it, I knew what the gritty was.
Yep, exactly. You might have heard it, but then once you see the moves, you're good to go.
That is so funny. I'm so glad we asked this. I think you are, actually I know you are, the first person to gritty on Coast Life.
Oh, that's good.
You get that honor.
I made some history.
You did. History was made today. So if you have Officer Cisco here as your SRO, you're very lucky. And I want to go to school with you, of course. Well, thank you for being here and for entertaining us as well. Our questions, the serious ones and the kind of funny ones.
Absolutely, anytime.
Thank you. All right, well, don't say that. We'll definitely have you back.
Absolutely.
But we're not going anywhere right now. More Coast Life.
You're watching Coast Life, and we know how important it is to take care of all the members in our community. And as the weather turns, you may be seeing a little bit more infection, a little more sickness, and we've got the experts in keeping people healthy and safe in studio with us today. We've got Christopher McLean with Peninsula Home Care. Welcome to the Coast Life Couch.
Thank you for having me.
We're very happy to have you. So we're talking today about something that a lot of people might not know about, and if they do, you unfortunately know about it, right? We're talking about sepsis. Before we even get into that though, if you could just explain to everyone watching your position with Peninsula Home Care and what you do.
So with Peninsula Home Care, I'm actually what's considered a clinical team leader. My role on day-to-day operations is I'm actually in charge of all the clinicians in the field. I also oversee all the patients, their activities, their statuses, when their next coming up doctor's appointments may be, and actually coordinate that with other facilities, such as hospitals or short-term rehabs and stuff like that.
Just like we said, we're talking about sepsis. What is it?
So sepsis is actually the body's natural reaction to fight an infection. So when you do get an infection, your body actually releases chemicals within your system to fight that infection. what happens is sometimes it's too severe, your body will quit fighting the infection and start actually attacking the tissues and organs of your own body, causing widespread inflammation.
So when would you see something like that? Because I think, maybe I'm thinking of something else, but when I think of sepsis, I tend to think maybe older adults, elderly, maybe they're in bed too long. Is that how that starts?
So there's a lot of different causes for infections, of course. You know, infections are widespread. Pneumonia is an infection, for one thing. In home care, most of the people that have sepsis usually get it from an undiagnosed urinary tract infection. So, you know, they don't pay attention to their own body. So as further along it goes, it gets worse and worse. Their body then quits fighting it and then starts attacking itself.
Oh, interesting. I didn't know you could get
I didn't
from
either.
that.
So yes, always pay attention to your body. But if you are sort of in tune and paying attention, what are some of the signs that maybe sepsis is on the horizon?
So the most common signs and symptoms for sepsis in the early beginnings is, you have a low blood pressure, a high heart rate, you spike a fever, you start breathing more shorter breath or faster breathing. Those are your typical 5 symptoms of sepsis. It does have to be clinically diagnosed from a provider. You can't go talk to your neighbor and say, hey, this is what I have. They're like, oh yeah, you got sepsis. It actually has to be done from a doctor or a nurse practitioner.
And are those similar symptoms that people who are taking care of maybe an elderly patient or someone who takes care of somebody, what should they be looking out for if maybe the patient can't recognize the symptoms themselves?
So basically those 5 symptoms. The biggest thing that we like to teach people is know your own body. If you're not feeling good and it's lasting longer than it probably should, then you should definitely seek a medical professional.
Yeah, and are there some, preventative steps to prevent yourself from getting to the point of sepsis if maybe you do have an infection like pneumonia or, like you said, a UTI?
Yeah, there is. So, the basic things that we like to teach is proper hand hygiene. Make sure before you start touching things like your Foley or a cut that hasn't healed in 5 to 7 days, make sure your hands are clean. Stay up to date on all your vaccines. Manage your comorbidities or other disease processes such as diabetes, obesity, or kidney diseases.
Oh, that's a lot to think of. So what can Peninsula Home Care do then, or what do you all do for patients? Maybe someone's watching this and they're a caretaker and they need some help.
So typically when we get a patient that has been diagnosed with sepsis, there's a couple of forms that they can take care of. One's oral antibiotics. So we will come in and actually do med education. We'll tell you when you should take it, how you should take it, what you should look for when taking this medication. The most extreme cases for people that have been in the hospital for several days or even several weeks, they usually come home on IV antibiotics. So our goal is to teach them how to actually give themselves the IV antibiotics on days that we're not there. So, of course, proper hand hygiene, this is what you need to look for. If if the area around the PICC line or midline is red or swollen or inflamed or it's oozing something it shouldn't be oozing, those are things that to look for. So that's what we teach them.
Yeah, yeah. And you guys, your whole team, home care is a whole team effort with Peninsula Home Care, and you guys really care a lot about your patients, and you're now serving Sussex County. Tell us a little bit about that.
We are. So we service all of Sussex County and a little bit of Kent. And we deal with everybody. We deal with doctor's offices, all your local hospitals, your urgent care. So we can get people from wherever. So, our biggest thing is we want to make sure that people are well. We teach them to be well. This is what you need to look for if you're on this med or you have this disease process.
Okay, very interesting. I think this is really great knowledge for everybody to know and to have in your back pocket in case, unfortunately, if something does happen in the future.
Yes. But we trust and love our friends at Peninsula Home Care. But, well, Christopher, thank you so much for coming in and informing us about this, because it's great information. Where can people get a hold maybe of some more of this information if they need it?
So, a lot of times you can actually call the office. We'll actually educate you on some things in the office. Certain things we can't educate you on because we don't have that person as a patient yet. But anything that you need to know, we pretty much have someone in the office that can actually help you with that.
Awesome. Christopher, thank you again, and you can come back anytime.
Please.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. But for you, don't go anywhere because there's more Coast Life. You're going to want to miss it, so stay right there.
This segment of Coast Life was brought to you by Peninsula Home Care.
Leah, can you believe it? September 6th, is it?
Yeah, September 6th.
How is September flying by?
Already? I know, it just started.
And August was fun. September is going to be hard to beat.
Yeah, I know. And we love when a new month starts. We love taking a look back just the past month, recapping everything, because we always do have tons of fun. Is there anything that kind of sticks out for you this past month?
Beans from Annabelle's Barbecue in Ocean City.
I raved about this barbecue for weeks after I tried it. I mean, everybody I know, I'm like, you want good barbecue? You got to go to Annabelle's in Ocean City.
I dream about those beans. And look, yes, they have a lot more than just beans. I'm just saying, please get them. Not just beans, there's been a lot of other great, really fun moments and really great people we've spoken to, had on the studio. We should really just wrap up our favorite parts of August in a video.
Wow, why don't we do exactly that?
Let's take a look.
You know what time it is. Push-ups, push-ups, push-ups. All right, let's hammer it down right here. Come on, Paige Leah.
Well, we'll get him a cool Coast Country hat.
I bet he'll wear it. Cover up his head. It's a little shiny sometimes.
Why did the girl do her homework on an airplane? To achieve a higher education.
No, I hate that one.
I just love with all of my friends, dancing with them and all of the teachers and all of the fun we have.
All right, sir, why did the pirate, I already told you this one, I told you this one in this video.
I mentioned before in my life.
What are the current high school trends that kind of baffle you?
There's some TikTok trends that sometimes the kids will come up with in these hand gestures, and we'll see them doing it in between classes by the concession stand where a lot of kids like to hang out. And I'm not sure exactly. We try and figure them out and try and understand them.
What is a pirate's favorite exercise?
What is a pirate's favorite exercise? The treadmill.
No. Guess again.
Free weights.
No, the plank. You get it?
No.
I understand Bella is also a part of the newsletter. If you don't know, Bella is the four-legged mascot.
Yes. If you haven't noticed, though, the theme today, we're doing a little black and white. So take us through why black and white. I feel like we are at Kris Jenner's house in the best way. Yes.
You don't push ups right here, right now.
Cheers.
Cheers, love.
All right. Oh, yeah.
To go to do with pirates.
Elliptical machine.
And August also had a really great of spill the tea moments.
Yes.
So funny. Please send us your drama. We love hearing about your drama. Yes. It makes us feel more normal.
That was the time where I felt really called out about the snooze.
That was
August.
Yeah, sometimes we do take slight offense, but just kidding. So don't forget, just email us or again, just go on our socials and DM us. But if you're going to email, team@coastlife.com. We are always there, and we're going to keep it anonymous because tomorrow we're already spilling the tea again.
Yes, all thanks to our friends at the Spice and Tea Exchange on Rehoboth Avenue in Rehoboth Beach.
That's right. Hey, we have a little bit more Coast Life on the way. Stay right where you are. Why are we looking at all of these books, you may ask? That's because it's National Read a Book Day, Leah.
Yay!
Isn't that cool?
That is cool. And actually, I was gone last week.
Yes.
Much of my vacation was spent just reading on the beach.
Oh, I love that for you. And I was telling Leah, I've been in the middle of a series, and I said as soon as I finish, I'm going to read a book she let me. She got it at Browseabout.
Sure did.
Loved it. She's giving it to me now. So I finished that series last night. So you know what I'm doing after work today? Reading a book.
There you go.
Yes, the one you let me. So run to Browseabout today and get a book and read. And get this, according to CNN, books, the older you are, the more books you read, it can help with your memory.
Hey, there you go.
So maybe it could help us out.
Yeah, well, and it's hard too because I feel like I remember in school, I wasn't a big reader.
Yeah.
It was time consuming and you had to read a bunch of books, only some of them interesting to you, you know what I mean? Like you had to read them, and when you're forced to read, it's a lot harder to do. But I've actually fallen really head over heels in love with reading now as an adult. I'm like, I've really gotten into this.
Yes.
I see what the hype is all about.
Exactly. And I don't like in school when they force you to read by this time and you read these chapters and this day.
And I'm a slow reader, man.
Yeah.
So I would rather go at my own pace through The Great Gatsby, which I really enjoyed The Great Gatsby in school, but it was not a quick read.
Exactly. So let us know what books you're picking up from Browse About Books today, because there's no better day to read a book than National Read a Book Day.
Yes.
All right.
And good luck to everybody with the rest of the school week. First week back. We know it can be tough.
It can be.
But we will always be here for you at 4 o'clock every weekday, Monday through Friday.
Set your DVR. If you get off the bus at 4, you can watch us 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock.
Whenever you get around to it.
Whenever you want. And you can always keep up with us on social media. Don't forget, on Facebook, on Instagram, and you can go on YouTube as well and watch some episodes of Coast Life there.